sensational seasons and overperforming massively. So we did a video where we looked at 10 clubs across Europe who were in turmoil. Now, I don't want this channel to be all negative, so I thought, why don't we do the reverse? Let's look at some clubs who are having incredible seasons, who have started the season really, really well, kind of unexpectedly as well, so they are, you could say, overperforming at least what expectations had them at this year. Now, I kind of cheated, I haven't got 10, I've got 8, but that's because when I was making the script I got to 8 and I was like, okay, I've gone into such detail here under each club, but I should probably just do 8, otherwise this video is going to be very long, so hopefully you guys enjoy. They are actually in order. So number 1 is the club I believe is having the most sensational, extraordinary, overperforming season in Europe. They are all not in the Premier League, at least, these clubs, so hopefully can inform you guys a little bit on what's going on maybe across Europe and see some teams who maybe could be having some historic seasons. But let's get into it. Starting off with number 8, and we actually remain in England with Portsmouth. Now, the 2000s were an exciting time to be a Portsmouth fan, backed by the finances of Milan Madalik. A second-tier title in 2002-03 was followed by 7 successive seasons of Premier League football, an FA Cup trophy, and a foray into Europe that saw Italian giants Milan visit Fratton Park. Then the bubble burst. In February 2010, they became the first, and so far only, Premier League club to enter administration, with 9 points dogged on their way to finishing bottom of the top flight. In truth, they had already been relegated without it. Portsmouth flew too close to the sun and paid the price. Within 4 seasons of playing Premier League football, Portsmouth had fallen to the 4th tier of English football, which included back-to-back relegations. It took them 4 seasons of League 2 football before winning promotion in 2016-17, but they've been unable to find a way out of League 1 in 6 campaigns. But this season feels different. Still unbeaten 15 games into the League 1 season and top of the league with 35 points, Portsmouth could be set to win promotion back to the second tier, heights they haven't reached since 2012. That 15-game unbeaten start replicates the efforts of just 6 previous teams in the 3rd tier of English football. Now, Portsmouth still have some way to go to match the efforts of the 1973-74 Bristol Rovers, who had a 27-game undefeated streak, but Portsmouth's points tally from the opening 15 games matches that of title winners Plymouth last season. 4 of the last 6 teams to win at least 35 points from their opening 15 games of a League 1 season have gone on to win promotion that campaign. Portsmouth upturn in fortunes didn't just suddenly occur following a strong pre-season. They've been one of the best teams in England's professional leagues since making the brave managerial appointment of inexperienced John Mousinho earlier in 2023. Mousinho is currently the youngest permanent manager in League 1, aged 37. Across the top 4 tiers in England, he's the 3rd youngest, with only Sheffield United's 34-year-old and Ipswich Town's coach younger. Mousinho was appointed Portsmouth manager in January 2023. It was his first managerial job and came just 65 days after making his final appearance as a professional player. His appointment was another shrewd move from the South Coast side, following their grab of Richard Hughes as sporting director just months earlier, leaving a similar position of Forest Green, whom he helped to the League 2 title alongside current Luton manager Rob Edwards. Mousinho only succession with his side before his first game as head coach, a 2-0 win a day after his appointment, which ended a run of just one win in 15 matches. Mourinho had equalled that points tally within his opening 7 games, and it would only get better from there. Since his appointment, only Ipswich and Stockport have won more points across the top 4 tiers than Portsmouth, while Portsmouth are now on a club record 27-game unbeaten league run. They last lost a league match on the 11th of March, while only 9 clubs have ever managed a longer undefeated streak across the 2nd, 3rd or 4th tier of English football. They are now just 3 games off, becoming only the 6th club to enjoy a sequence of 30 plus games without a defeat. They've fallen behind in 7 of their 15 matches this season, but haven't lost any of those. Importantly, when they fall behind, they recover quickly. In fact, almost half of Portsmouth's league points this season have been gained from losing positions. Their tally of 17 points won from behind is not only the most in League One this season, but also the highest across England's top 4 tiers this year. Not uncommon for sides lower down the EFL pyramid, even more so with a manager taking charge of his first pre-season. Portsmouth had a big overhaul of playing staff in the summer. Many of their incomings have played a big role in their success, with 5 of the 8 players to play the most minutes for the club this season joining the club in the transfer window. Goalkeeper Will Norris and central defensive partners Regan Paul and Conor Shorgazi are 3 of the most used players, alongside fantastic striker Colby Bishop. Mourinho's signings of the defensive triangle in goal and the heart of defence have proved to be a key reason for his success, with the trio impressing across the campaign so far. Building out from a back is a key component of Mourinho's philosophy, with 3 defenders, Paul, Rafferty and Shorgazi, averaging the most touches of the ball per 90 for the club this season. Their biggest threat, Bishop, doesn't see much for ball, with the 26-year-old averaging the fewest touches in the squad, but none of that matters. When he receives the ball, he's dangerous, as he's the current 2nd highest scorer in League One with 9 goals. What makes this more impressive is that Bishop was playing part-time in the 6th tier of English football before making a leap of 3 divisions. Despite a shock FA Cup defeat to National League Chesterfield, Portsmouth are flying, with a potentially record-breaking unbeaten run and a lead at the top of League One to protect. All eyes will be on Mourinho's side to see if they can sustain their form and prevail in their quest to return to the Championship after a 12-year absence. The progress they've made in 2023 under their young and progressive coach are overwhelmingly positive, that's for sure. Number 7. Stade de Reims. Will Still was a relatively unknown figure until midway through last season. That was until someone found out that the Ligue 1 club he managed, Reims, were forking out £22,000 every game for Still to manage them. When it emerged that Still was an avid football manager player, the response from social media across the internet was to repeatedly use his profile as an engagement fodder. But this perhaps belies the fact that the red-haired Anglo-Belgian coach is a serious manager. It's been quite the 12 months for Still. The Stade Reims manager has made a huge impression in France, transforming his side from relegation candidates to European contenders in a little over a year. Reims currently sit 5th in Ligue 1 and are just 7 points off PSG in top spot. With 20 points from their opening 12 league games, they've made their best start to a top flight campaign since 1974. It's also just the 2nd time they've been inside the top 4 this far into a Ligue 1 season in the last 48 years. Reims are sparking with Still at the helm. Now Still was initially appointed as an assistant in the summer of 2022, but quickly found himself in the managerial hot seat. Reims made an abysmal start to last season, winning just one of their opening 9 games, and it was their worst start to a top-flight season in 40 years. Still was then asked to step in for Garcia in the dugout against table-toppers PSG. His side valiantly held the reigning champions to a goalless draw, ending the Parisians' 22-game goal-scoring run. Reims then embarked on an almighty 19-game unbeaten streak, propelling themselves completely clear of the relegation zone. It was the longest run of any side in Ligue 1 last season, as well as the club's longest in their Ligue 1 history. Still had completely transformed Reims last season as they soared in the top half of the table. The club's unbeaten streak ultimately came to an end at Marseille in what was a first league defeat for Still, and that sparked somewhat of an end-of-season slump, as Reims won just 2 of their remaining 10 games. Despite that, they finished 16 points clear of the relegation zone, a feat which few would have predicted when Still took over. The 31-year-old was rewarded with a permanent deal in the summer, and 23-24 has seen them build on last year's promising campaign massively. Now Reims press extremely high up on the pitch in a bid to suffocate opponents. This pressing mainly takes shape as an aggressive counter-press. Reims made 268 high turnovers last season, with only Marseille and Monaco making more. This season they're at it again. Only PSG and Monaco have a lower PPDA than Reims, while only PSG Lens Brest have completed more press sequences. That counter-press has been on full display, with Reims opponents completing just 3 passes on average per sequence. Structurally, Still sets his side up in a compact mid-block and utilises man marking. From there, his side forces opponents out wide, and when the ball does come into the middle, Reims react proactively and aggressively, and have made more tackles and recoveries than any side in Ligue 1. Despite Reims' poor start to last season, they conceded 19 league goals in their opening game. Still's appointment shored up the defence. They kept more cleans than any other side under Still last year, while only Lens conceded fewer goals than Reims across the French top flight. That defensive solidity has largely continued this season, with Still altering his system to a back 3. Just 3 sides have conceded fewer goals than Reims in Ligue 1 this year. The departure of last season's top scorer following Balogun had some onlookers concerned that this season would see Reims regress. After all, they had just 8 different goal scorers last year, the fewest of any side, while only Mbappe and Lacazette scored more goals than Balogun last year. And it was immediately clear how Reims would replace his attacking output. However, any pre-season qualms have been completely dispersed. There has been little impact from the absence of Balogun. Only PSG and Monaco have scored more goals than Still's side. Remarkably, those 17 goals mean Reims have made their most prolific start to a top flight in 47 years. It's incredible what Will Still has done at Reims in such a short space of time, and it'll be interesting if he can keep this up and propel Reims into Europe. Number 6. Nice. While PSG may be top of Ligue 1, it's not been easy for them. In fact, this is one of the only times this season they have been top of the league. The reason? Nice. Nice have been the surprise package of Ligue 1, and despite being labelled the perennial underachievers for the last few years, suddenly when expectations for this side were not at their highest, they have sprung into life. Nice are the only team in France to still be unbeaten and sit in second place, just 1 point off PSG, having beaten the champions 3-2 in the Parc de Paris. Nice have been criticised over the last few years for the way they have been run. Their recruitment at points has been really poor since Jim Ratcliffe took over the club in 2019, a name you might remember as the man who's going to take over things haven't been so great. Ineos bought Nice in 2019 with Bob Ratcliffe, Jim's brother, working as chief executive, proclaiming a desire to reach the Champions League within 3 to 5 years and to qualify regularly. It has not quite worked out like that. In the 6 years before Ratcliffe, the club finished in the top 4 3 times, including coming third in 16-17. Since the takeover though, Nice have finished 5th under Patrick Vieira, 9th the following season, and then 5th under Gaudier after a promising start in 21-22. That campaign was also marked by behind-the-scenes tensions, including an alleged email sent by former Nice sporting director to Ineos, alleging Gaudier made racist remarks regarding the makeup of his squad. And last season didn't go quite to plan either. It started with a Premier League British influence recruitment policy, in which former Premier League stars Aaron Ramsey, Ross Barkley and Kasper Schmeichel joined the club, and ended with a sacking of manager Lucien Favre and a 9th place finish. Investment has not been the issue during Ratcliffe's tenure. Last year alone, Nice spent more than €100 million on players. After the difficulties of last summer, Nice made a smart move off the field by recruiting Florian Gisself as their sporting director in October, which is the main reason behind their revival. He was a driving force behind Lence's incredible second place finish last year. In January, he made a number of promising signings of Terran Murphy and Youssef Nidiasim. In the summer, the smart recruitment continued with Jeremy Bogger, Morgan Sanson, Ramin Baroud, Ali Bale and experienced Sirigu among the names to join. But the biggest of them all was Francesco Farioli, their new manager at the age of just 34. It was a gamble coming in from the Turkish league at such a young age, but has worked wonders with the team. His fresh young energy, coupled with the young energy of his team, has caused a perfect blend, and Nice are thriving in Ligue 1 right now. And with many Ligue 1 teams like Marseille and Lyon struggling, even PSG not looking the best, this season could be the year that Ratcliffe finally gets a return on his investment into Nice. Number 5, PSV. Peter Boss's PSV are perfect. 12 Eredivisie games, 12 wins, 45 goals scored and just 5 conceded. It's been as successful a return to Dutch football as Boss could have hoped for. Boss and PSV head into the international break not only with an already comfy 7-point lead in the table, but having played some of the best football in Europe. Will it last? As ever with Boss, that is a difficult question to answer. His coaching origin is compellingly Dutch. Boss believes in attacking football, a swarming press and a 4-3-3 formation, and he is very faithful to his vision. There are many quotes describing what his vision is. He believes the ball should go forward. He thinks the game should stir the soul. He once said that Peter Boss, the footballer, was not good enough to play the football that Peter Boss, the coach, wants to see. And Boss is no pragmatist. Most recently, he spent 18 months at Lyon. He finished 8th in his only full season and was dismissed with the team in 9th. Exactly a year later, he is showing that PSV were the right team. For him, his predecessor Ruud van Nistelrooy won the KNVB Cup in his only season and finished 2nd in the Eredivisie, top scoring in the division. Van Nistelrooy abruptly resigned, citing a lack of internal support, but he left behind an attacking, pressing side who were familiar with a 4-3-3. Rather than having to transform PSV, Boss has ratcheted up their intensity. Passes per defensive action measures the number of passes a team allows outside of their own third of the pitch. The lower the number, the fiercer the press. Under Van Nistelrooy, PSV were allowing 11.7 to fourth lowest in the league. Pretty good. But this season under Boss, they're allowing just 8.3, comfortably the lowest in the division. Van Nistelrooy's team were proactive. Boss's PSV are relentless. His work has had obstacles too, making this even more impressive. PSV sold Cody Gakpo to Liverpool before he arrived, while Xavi Simons and Ibrahim Sangare departed over the summer. All three were starters, and Simons and Gakpo had also contributed 28 goals and 28 assists last season. However, 4 of the Eredivisie's top 7 chance creators this season are PSV players. One is veteran forward Luke de Jong, another is new signing Noah Lang, and the other two, Johan Bakayoko and Ismail Sabari, have had their squad status upgraded. Among that group, only de Jong is older than 24. Young players have often succeeded under Boss, at Ajax, at Leverkusen, at Lyon too, and it's happening again. Lang, 24, and Bakayoko, 20, are gifted wide forwards. Both are playing outstandingly. Sabiri, 22, resembles a junior Nabil Fekir. Beneath those headliners, Malik Tillman, on loan from Bayern Munich, has made just a few appearances but is already playing with freedom and has 5 goals to his name. Serginho Dest has been revived too. Boss gets value from his fullbacks, and Dest, still 22, playing inverted from the left, steps off the touchline to drive and create. Boss believes Dest can play as a midfielder, and whether he is able to turn it into Philip Lahm is another question, but the intention shows how great he is doing. The football is fabulous. De Jong is the attack centre point, but he's surrounded by so much movement and support. PSV are moving the ball vertically and accurately. There is a rhythm to them, but with the effect that they are scoring over 3 goals per game. This is most definitely the football that Peter Bosz wants to watch, and they are one of the most informed teams in Europe right now. The only reason they're not higher on this list is because they are one of the biggest clubs in the Netherlands, so it's a little bit expected compared to the other teams who are not, but still, it's sensational what Bosz is cooking in Eindhoven. Number 4, VfB Stuttgart. Stuttgart are one of Germany's biggest clubs. They won the Bundesliga as recently as 2007. Their stadium holds 60,000 fans and is one of Europe's loudest. Nevertheless, when Sebastian Hoeneß took charge in April 2023, VfB were circling the drain. They were in last position, 5 points from Bundesliga safety, and he was their 3rd coach of the season. 5 months later, having survived a relegation playoff, they are 3rd. They won 6 games straight earlier this season and have lost just 3 games. VfB are unrecognisable from the cowering counter-attacking team Hoeneß inherited. They are controlling the middle of the pitch, building moves quick, intricate football, and are averaging over 3 goals per game. Their reinvention has been remarkable. Serhou Guirassy has been the headline. The prolific Guinean forward has scored an insane 15 goals in 9 games and has scored all types of goals. They reveal his evolution and growing confidence, but the expressiveness of the players behind him too. Guirassy's ludicrous efficiency means VfB are comfortably outperforming their expected goals, but the quality of their chances they are creating are still comparable to those made by Bayern Munich and Leverkusen. So while there has been a tendency to condense Stuttgart down to Guirassy's goals, their improvement is really much broader. They play in a 4-2-3-1. Behind Guirassy is a trio of contrasting chance creators: Chris Führig, Enzo Milot, and Silas. Head coach Hoeneß is a story himself. He was last seen at Hoffenheim, where he was sacked at the end of his 2nd season. It was disappointing because he was 38 when Hoffenheim appointed him and had been a bright young coach whom much was expected. what's insane about what Stuttgart are doing is they are doing this having lost all of their best players in the summer. Badaru Endo left for Liverpool, which was a big blow as Endo had been a huge influence and his performances helped Stuttgart to survive last season. He was a role model away from the pitch too and greatly respected in the dressing room. Replacing him was a tough task, but Angelo Stieler has come in and been sensational. Konstantinos Mavropanos, Borna Sosa and goalkeeper Florian Müller was sold over the summer too, and all three were starters. Müller was replaced by Alexander Nubel, Sosa was filled by Maximilian Mittelstadt, who was signed for 500k and has been so good that he was unfortunate not to be called up to the Germany squad. The recruitment has been astute. Forward Dennis Undav, moved from Brighton over the summer, has been impactful. Anthony Roussel has come in and looks like a gem at centre-back. And those who stayed at the club have improved drastically. Dan Axel Zagadou, self-belief was shattered by injury and poor form at Dortmund. He looks reborn in the centre of defence, and next to him, Waldemir Anton has become one of the most progressive centre-backs in the league. Whether this form will last is a different issue, but that misses the point. Stuttgart have existed year to year since they returned to the Bundesliga in 2020. Now finally, they have a cause for more than just survival and a team that demands to be watched. Number 3, Le Havre. Le Havre are proving a tough nut to crack this year. Monaco found that out. Monaco have lost twice all season and only PSG have scored more goals, but they escaped after a lucky 0-0 draw. Now Le Havre were promoted last season under the coaching of Luca Elsner. At 41, Elsner has already had a nomadic career, but he arrived in the summer of 2022, won the Ligue 2 title in his first season, returning Le Havre to the top flight for the first time in 15 years. 12 games into that return, Elsner has had his side playing tough, organised and dynamic football, and has them sitting in 7th place despite a significant financial disadvantage. Le Havre's wage bill is the 3rd lowest in the league. Upon promotion, just €2.9 million was spent on strengthening the squad, a tiny figure, but still more than the previous 3 seasons combined. In status though, they are much more regal. They are actually France's oldest club, founded in 1894, but while the past is rich, the present is poor. This season is only their 3rd in French football's top flight since the turn of the century, and their first following a relegation in 2009. For younger generations, Le Havre's name is synonymous only with its youth academy, producing players like Pogba, Payet and Mahrez. In 2015, Le Havre began their journey back when they were purchased by American businessman Vincent Volpe. When he bought the club, his aim was to return to Ligue 1 as quickly as possible. Ultimately, it took the better part of a decade. Over time, the failure to gain promotion created tension between the ownership and supporters. Volpe still owns the club today, but unlikely for much longer as the club is up for sale. Some of the friction has been eased, however, by his decision to step down as president, and the success of the new sporting structure has been the main driving factor behind Le Havre's incredible season. He now has Jean-Michel Rousset as president and former PSG midfielder Mathieu Bodmer as sporting director. Following promotion, Le Havre have looked at home in Ligue 1. Monaco were not the first team to be jolted out of rhythm. They have held Lens, Lyon and Rennes to credible draws already, and did what Liverpool failed to do in coming from behind to beat Toulouse away from home. Their football is effective. Elsner has operated predominantly in a 3-4-2-1. Rather than pressing high, Le Havre contract themselves without the ball and congest the middle of the park. The system is effective, but it would be a mistake to characterise them as simply hard running. Nabil Aloui is a gifted attacking midfielder has played in cameos with skill, while Lil Loni Mohamed Bayo is a thrusting technical forward, has proven he can score goals. Against Monaco, former national team captain Hugo Lloris was in the stands to watch his brother Gautier play on the left of a back three. On the right of that defence, Aruna Sangate, an academy product, read the game beautifully, giving one of the best defensive performances of the weekend. There are concerns that Le Havre not scoring enough, an average of just one a game, and free agent Andre Ayew was recently signed to help. And while Esna's side are defending resiliently, their opponents have collectively underperformed their expected goals, but that's mainly due to the outstanding form of goalkeeper Arthur Desmas. Can Le Havre's resilience last through the winter? Those questions will need answers soon, but this remains a compelling return to top division life. Le Havre have been a name for a long time, and they now have a team too. Alright, number 2 is Bayer Leverkusen. Now, from a relegation zone to being 2 points clear of Bayern Munich at the top of the table, Xabi Alonso has led Leverkusen on quite the ride in his 12 months. Some sort of rebound was almost inevitable, but the complete change in the team under the Spaniard has been nothing short of remarkable. Their style of play has been so pleasing to watch, and also impressive in the fact they are not a dogmatic team. They have shown an ability to counter-attack teams when necessary, but also dominate on the ball. Now, Alonso isn't the sole reason for Bayer's positive momentum. He has a strong relationship with Spanish CEO Fernando Caro and Rolfes. His ideas are closely aligned with Leverkusen's transfer policy too. The club's scouting has been formidable for decades, but last summer they were especially smart. Selling winger Moussa Diaby for €60 million enabled them to invest in a couple more seasoned pros to complement their array of youngsters. Former Arsenal midfielder Xhaka and Germany international Hoffmann, both 31, have added character and mentality as much as quality to the dressing room. Hoffmann is a talented technician who combines with Frimpong and covers defensively for his teammate, while Xhaka has reinforced a solid double pivot, encouraging Florian Wirtz to roam forward. Grimaldo is also being mentioned as a hugely positive influence behind the scenes and has given Alonso an attacking threat down the left-hand side, along with defensive solidity, which allows Leverkusen to shift into a back four shape in build-up. And on top of that, it's always useful to add a dynamic goalscorer in Boniface, who has averaged an incredible 7.6 shots per 90 since joining the club from USG and has 12 goal contributions in 11 games in the Bundesliga this season. Xabi Alonso's side have taken 31 points from a possible 33 this season, equaling the record set by Pep Guardiola's Bayern Munich in 15-16. And they're showing no signs of slowing down either, so we could be in for an absolutely sensational Bundesliga title race this year. And finally, number 1 is Girona. Not reigning champions Barcelona, not Jude Bellingham's Real Madrid, not even Atletico Madrid. The team sitting 2 points clear at the top of La Liga with 11 wins from 13 games are tiny Girona, playing only their 4th ever top flight season and possessing the league's smallest stadium. In 2017, Girona were one of the first clubs to become part of the global Man City CFG network. Ever since, they have benefited greatly. Girona benefit from City's players receiving a trickle of young talents, either being prepared for Premier League action or deemed not quite good enough. For example, striker Tati Castellanos netted 14 goals for Girona last season and was then sold to Lazio for €20 million. The current Girona squad features a plethora of players with City connections. Explosive 19-year-old Brazilian winger Savio, who has 3 goals and 4 assists, looks set for a sparkling future and is on loan from CFG club Troyes, Right-sided dynamic Yan Gudo has been borrowed directly from City. Aggressive midfielder Yango Herrera, who has scored 4 goals and ranks second in La Liga for fouls conceded, was signed from City after spending last season on loan. And perhaps Girona's most important player, midfield orchestrator Alexis Garcia, is another former Man City man who played for the club between 15-17, but has really flourished since returning to Spain, currently leading La Liga for ball touches and passes into the final third. Girona's City links run deeper on and off the pitch. The club's executive president is none other than Pep Guardiola's brother, and the clearly defined CFG philosophy filters from the top down, all the way to the attacking possession-based style. It would be very wrong, however, to think of Girona as some kind of City B team. The CFG ownership is just one of many factors to their success. Alongside a handful of decision makers with City connections, the club is also run by 2 local men. Club president Devi Kelly started and finished his career with Girona, representing Barca in between, and sporting director Kike Gagel started his career in Barcelona's youth ranks. Garcel has earned particular praise this season for his clever development of the squad with signings from both near and far. Working with a tight budget, Garcel picked up a G quality, such as former Man United defender Daley Blind, young left-back Miguel Gutierrez from Real Madrid, and central defender Eric Garcia from Barcelona. Garcel's scouting network, with the help of Guardiola, also identified a couple of gems from Ukraine. Attacking midfielder Viktor Dyzgangov arrived midway through last season, while frontman Artem Dovvik was signed for summer. The elegant Dyzgangov has registered 5 goals and 7 assists for the club, while Dovvik has more goals and assists per 90 than any other player in La Liga this year. The mixture of young, old, local and international talents has given Girona an exciting squad, but still needs someone to pull everything together. And in Miguel, the club has struck gold with a coach who understands exactly what the hierarchy wants. The former midfield's managerial career started with Raul Vallecano and then to Huesca before joining Girona. But it has been third time lucky, with Girona going from strength to strength since Miguel took them over in 18 months ago. With a requirement from the club's hierarchy to play progressive attacking football, he has created a skillful team. Whereas most clubs ruffle the feathers by focusing on defensive organisation, Girona's success stems from all-out attack. They have scored more goals than any other team in La Liga, and Miguel's mindset was perfectly illustrated at Osasuna. Leading 3-2 in the final stages, many managers would introduce an extra defender, but Miguel brought on 2 forwards, one of whom supplied a cross for Garcia to hammer home the 4th. During pre-season, Miguel told his players that after finishing 10th last season, he didn't believe the team had yet reached their limits. Those words proved true, and it remains to be seen where the limits are. So there we go, those were 10 teams who are overperforming, having exceptional seasons this year. Let me know if you agree or disagree with those 10. Who did I miss out? And if you have enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in another video.